For the sports lovers out there who like to get their gamble on, whether it be on the NBA games, NFL, Major League Soccer, even National Hockey League, Major League Baseball, even college sports, go to betus.com to make that bet. If you use the promo code TKT for the Klown Times, you get up to 125% of the sign-up bonus, which is up to $2,500. Another perk you can see, you can bet on the go, which means you can bet anytime, anywhere on your mobile device. You get fast payouts, so you can get your payouts immediately every single time. Do not have to wait. And you can do live betting when you can bet during the game, whether it's early or the best lines, you can do it all. So anyway, please sign up for betus.com. Use the promo code TKT for the Klown Times. You'll be able to do so, right? Check out betus.com, where the game begins. I want to start off with, I know you guys saw two of y'all's podcasts this past Sunday with another guy who I follow, is Matt Zemek, sports writer, sports blogger as well, about the state of the ACC in terms of the ACC network, what could be done. And one thing that he mentioned was that the ACC network, how could it be more profitable, right? Because he talked about what ailed the Pac-12 network, what the former commissioner Larry Scott didn't do, and what we're in danger of doing as well to the ACC network as far as not investing in it as far as more football product instead of like focusing on the Olympic sports, which is fine. We love the Olympic sports. With the conscious great Olympic sports, but football pays the bills, which y'all know. But he suggested, Matt, that that basically they should, like, the ACC should like have an untraditional time slots, like a breakfast edition, if you will. I guess like 10 o'clock a.m. games to not compete with the Big Ten and the SEC, the big baddies, right, on the block, and make some type of partnership with the Pac-12 to have like a ACC/Pac-12 at the dark, where they could show on the networks, like have the like a Pac-12 team come to the East Coast for like a 7 or 8 o'clock game, have ACC go west, have them have, even though they'll be on the road at the Pac-12 team, have that be shown on the ACC network as well, just for the exposure. I like the thinking outside the box by Matt, but how feasible is that really is, and will that really help the ACC network's bottom line?
I mean, okay, so Jeff probably can give you a much better answer than me. But my personal opinion is that if you're going to be taking this away from like the regional sports networks, which I seem to be the only one in the country to be able to watch because I didn't ditch Comcast, right? That, if you're getting this on the ACC network, you're probably getting it to a wider audience. There were a lot of my friends, right, in the Hokie Nation, right, and I would say ACC Nation, really, they have ditched cable and they've gone to streaming services and things like that. But because Comcast didn't have the ACC network when they first started out with having these games on the regional sports networks, that kind of obviously didn't really help them very much, except for, I poke fun at myself, except for me, who didn't ditch Comcast and waited it out till the ACC network came on here.
Right.
And so I think it can be realistic from that perspective, because just because of the fact that the ACC network is much more visible now that it's on Comcast. And it's something that can work if you ditch this regional network thing. Now, Jeff's talked about that a lot, but that would be my take on that. I don't think that you necessarily should give up the big slots, like being on, ESPN proper, or being on that, being on a non-conference game on NBC when you're playing Notre Dame. But I think, it'd be good for Jeff to give his take here.
Yeah. All right. So, Jeff, please enlighten us, because I know you're closer to it as well. But how feasible is this? Is it? Would it help the ACC's bottom line, in your estimation?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to is that they definitely got to think outside the box. But it all depends on ESPN. If they see value in a 10 o'clock game, they should do it. If they see value in a game starting at 9 p.m., the ACC should do it. And that's what's been said over the last several weeks. All options are on the table. My opinion is I don't know if ESPN would see that much value in it. Maybe for both, maybe for one, a couple late starting times, or maybe one game a week, starting at 10:30. Yeah, it all depends on ESPN. That's why it's tough to say, how much merit is in it, because you just don't know how ESPN would value that. But I think anything and everything should be on the table. Like, hey, if we start games at 10:30, would it help our bottom line? Yes or no, ESPN. If we start games at 9 p.m., will it help? Yes or no?
Check box.
Right. Check the box. Should we align with the Pac-12 on something? Yes or no? Just have it all there. Any ways to try to increase revenue. As far as those regional sports networks, I mean, there was a couple things in print that are actually pretty good for the ACC. The ACC has been paying for those, paying back those rights that Raycom had, and that comes off the books for ACC teams in
That's huge.
2026 or 27. And I think it was the News and Observer said that would be $3 million per ACC team that goes back in their pockets. So the rights go back to the ACC. So not only does the payments come off the books, but they also have the chance to monetize that. Either ESPN uses them, or they can sell them themselves. Who knows? I mean, I don't think it's going to be the singular thing that catches up with the SEC and Big Ten. But I mean, we could be talking of like $5 or $6 million swing there. Plus, like Matthew mentioned, Comcast gained full distribution in December of last year. That's not figured in. I mean, that's another
Right.
4 to 6 million estimated. So I mean, just right there, without even restructuring anything, those projections are, you can add about 10 million already in like about 4 years, and then you keep working on all these other out of the box options, whatever else is out there. I think what is probably more likely than a 10 o'clock game is adding a ninth conference game. And there was a really interesting podcast interview by the number 2 guy at ESPN last week. And I mean, this was what he said was better than like 200 different Twitter accounts with their sources. He said, quote, ESPN has every incentive to work with the ACC on making it financially stable. I don't think you can get any clearer than that. But ESPN is going to look at all these different options, and he mentioned creating more content with like possibly an extra conference game, more basketball conference games. I think it's more likely that something like that happens versus like a breakfast game. But who knows? Who knows? And I think we have to wait to see what these numbers come out. But the number 2 guy at ESPN saying that, doesn't sound like ESPN is going to try to orchestrate the demise of the ACC anytime soon.